Welcome to Sport New Zealand's service design process. In this video, find out what service design is and how it can be used to design ways for sports, schools and kura to engage with one another. Service design is used around the world to design and improve services. In service design, the customer of the service is a key partner with the provider in designing how the service will work, and it is the customer's needs and wants that determine the design of the service. The service provider will have resources that it can use to provide the service and will be constrained by what it does not have, but their wants and needs are always secondary to those of the customer during service design. Ultimately, the goal is to create a service that the customer feels is useful, usable, and desirable, and which the provider finds effective and efficient to deliver. In the Learning with Sport context, the service we are talking about is sport engagement with schools and kura. The customer of the service is schools, kura, teachers, kaiako, and ākonga. The provider of the service is national sporting organisations, their regional organisations, and their clubs. The providers bring a strategy and some solutions to the service design process. Schools, kura, teachers, kaiako, and ākonga experience the service delivery, and their feedback about touchpoints with the service are evaluated to inform the ultimate design of how the sport engages with schools and kura. The first step for national sporting organisations, their regional bodies, and their clubs when working with schools, kura, teachers, and kaiako is to frame up how they intend to engage with one another. Why does the sport want to engage with schools and kura? What will this engagement include? How might the engagement work? And what will the sport, schools, and kura get out of the engagement? Are all important questions to answer during this step in the process. Creating a high-level plan and an initial draft of a learning journey for the service are important outputs of the first step in the service design process. Next, it is important for teachers and kaiako to map out all the stages in the learning journey, from the point where they first hear about the service through to the point where they have finished their engagement with it. Teachers and kaiako are asked to think of all the points at which they will connect with the sport during the engagement and then identify things that could go wrong, along with possible solutions that would minimise the likelihood of these things going wrong. This enables the national sporting organisation to commission the design of a prototype of the service, including a range of classroom-based experiences and club-based experiences that will ultimately form the Learning with Sport topic that underpins the service. The third step in the service design process is for the sport to test the learning experiences with small groups of ākonga. This gives them the chance to iron out any flaws in the design before they pilot the service with whole classes of ākonga. Individual classroom-based and club-based learning experiences are tested with small groups of ākonga, and their feedback about the experiences helps the sport to refine them further. The fourth step in the service design process involves piloting the service with a small number of classes. The aim is to test all the stages of the service from registration to the implementation of the classroom-based experiences through to the delivery of the club-based experiences. Once again, feedback from teachers, kaiako, and ākonga is used to help further refine the learning experiences and shape the way in which the service will be delivered. The final step in the service design process is to implement the service at scale and review it ahead of rollout. This is often done in conjunction with a major sport event, as it provides an extra catalyst and motivations for schools, kura, and clubs to engage with one another. Often hundreds of schools and kura will engage with the sport during these major events, providing an excellent opportunity to gain feedback about the service before it becomes the way in which that sport engages with schools and kura.